What is up, everybody? It's your boy Bruce Wulfe back with you again with another it's another build video. How's that? So I got a new setup. For those of you that have been around for a bit, I'm actually sitting in a chair. The beanbag is stashed. So if you see me looking like all over the place, I'm still trying to get used to the camera setup, so sorry about that in advance. First I wanted to say what's up to everybody that's been hanging out for a long time. I know I haven't been putting as many videos out right now. I do appreciate that. I kind of suck. I appreciate the fact that I kind of suck. That's words. Yeah, words are hard. Anyway, I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch. Links in the description below. If you're looking to catch up with me, that's a good spot to look. I stream at least a couple days a week. Anyway, so I've been kind of stuck on this Diablo 3 new season, and I have one of every character except Demon Hunter, because everybody's doing Demon Hunter, and I like being different. But so far, this is one of my favorites. This is a wizard, and there's so far I think I've soloed up to Greater Rift 70 with him. He's just a really fun build. It has potential to go a lot further with somebody that's probably better at just being a player than I am, because I am really rusty on Diablo 3. I came back from season 1, 2 season now, so but really fun. It's more made for like duos and other type group play, but it works great in solo, as it's just a massive pile of AoE, CC, and just huge damage. Okay, cut out the cough for you. You're welcome. Anyway, alright, so you can see over here what my stats are looking at. Doesn't look too impressive right now, I realize that, but trust me, it does very quickly get impressive. So first off, we're gonna go check our Paragon points. Yeah, I'm 627 Paragon points, so I'm getting close to theoretical max on these other three, but your priority on this one is going to be resource cost reduction. After that, you're probably going to want life for hit, and then add in some of that area damage as well. In defense, you're going to want to focus on resist all, armor, and then life, like always, followed by life regeneration when you get out of other things to do. In offense, you're going to strongly focus on crit hit chance and attack speed. Throw in crit hit damage if you don't have the gear to up it at all, but those three are all very important. In core, I put enough in. So first off, you're going to want to max out your arcane power, because it's an expensive build. You want as much as you got. So there's a lot of things in this build that make it to where you regained mana, but you're still going to want a lot of arcane power. After that, I put vitality until I felt that I was not squishy anymore. That makes sense. And then after that, as soon as I got to that point, I just been pouring everything else into intelligence, because beeps. Okay, now that that's done, we'll click on here. We'll go look at all my gear and everything all at once here. So let's start with what I got in the cube. I got the Grand Vizier. Reduces arcane power cost of meteor by 50%. Don't really care, but it does increase its damage by 400%. Yeah, I just realized I should probably look at skills first, huh? So we'll pause X there. All right, so first off, we are wearing Tal Rasha'S, so it means we're gonna have one of every element skill. More on that later, but so first off, Arcane Torrent. I'm using Cascade. It's not the best of the Arcane Torrents, but it is arcane, which is what I needed. So it's pretty strong. By the way, in the description below, there will also be a link to the entire build on a website builder page, so you'll be able to look at all this stuff and keep it next to you if you wanted to reference it later. But let's see, the Arcane Torrent DPS is going to be looking like, according to this, about 2 billion DPS. Yeah, 2 billion. It's not your main focus of DPS, but it is very strong, so worth having around. It's mainly just to have something. Channeling. Your teleport, I use Wormhole. Feel free to use whatever teleport you want. It's just your mobility one. I use it because I skip between groups a lot, and it's helpful. This Wave of Force was actually a huge breakthrough on the build, using the electrical of it, which is why we're not using static charge or static discharge for the Arcane Torrent. Basically what it does is it releases a wave of pure electricity to damage nearby enemies. Don't really care. Each enemy hit restores arcane power. That's very crucial, and we don't even really need to cast it, so we don't really care. Blizzard, this is your primary CC. It's a freeze. It's an AoE freeze. It does a very good job. Meteor, it also does pretty decent deeps. Looking at about 4 billion DPS on that one, according to the site. Meteor, we're using Meteor Shower just to optimize on that AoE. We want as much stuff dropping everywhere possible as we can get. Over here in Storm Armor, we're using Power of the Storm, which reduces arcane power cost of all skills, and it definitely is noticeable. It also will zap anybody that's near you, which thanks to Tal Rasha'S 2-piece, it will drop a meteor randomly for every element, every 8 seconds per element. So if you haven't shot up one of your electrical wave of forces and hit something with it, then occasionally this will zap somebody that's chasing you, and all of a sudden a meteor drops on their head for multiple billions and they die. For passives, Unwavering Will, you're going to be doing a lot of standing still. So armor 20%, resistance 20%, damage 10%, very important. Astral Presence, increase your maximum arcane power by 20, arcane power regeneration by 2.5 per second. Man, I am just talking a lot right here. Again, it's a mana arcane power expensive expensive build. Blur for staying alive, helpful. Unstable Anomaly, when you receive fatal damage, you instead get, it's just a get out of jail free card. So those are the basic skills we're using. Back to the Kanai Qs. Again, we are getting 400% increased damage from Meteor with the Grand Vizier. And Nilfer's Boast for the equipment slot, it increases the damage of Meteor by 600%. And when the Meteor hits 3 or fewer enemies, the damage is increased by 900%. So that's a lot of increase. I'm using the Ring of Royal Grandeur so I can get more slots. I didn't really want to. It's not really necessary. If you have a ring you really want to use, feel free to drop off the boots for to pick up the set boots for, or no, there is no boots. That's why. I remember now. It's, wow, brain needs to brain things. Anyway, using that because I didn't want to use a neck or an offhand, because offhand is crucial. Potion, I am just using a tower potion to increase my armor after I use it. Now, to the most important parts of this build, and the only ones that are kind of required for the build to work at all. Not going to say it's a gear intensive build. You don't need to have great gear. You need to have specific gear. So, and the only ones that you really need specifically are going to be the Etch Sigil offhand. I do have it in Ancient, but if you read it here, so while you're channeling Arcane Torrent, Disintegrate, or Ray of Frost, the damage of your Arcane Power Spinders is increased by 150%. So it's 150% on everything that costs mana to use. And you also cast one of your other damaging Arcane Power Spinders every second. So all of these skills that you have on your bar right here get cast every second while you are channeling it, which I will show you in a second. But first off, let's go to Death Wish, the main one. So I could definitely get a better one of these, but it is ancient, it is good, and I have augmented it, as you can see, with an extra 250 intelligence. So the big thing on this one, while you're channeling Arcane Torrent, Disintegrate, Ray of Frost, noticing a theme here? There's definitely is one. All damage is increased by 291. It does max out at 300%, just as an FYI. So those are the two main big boys here. Let's just show you what that looks like here. Get off my screen. Thank you. So if I hold shift, we'll get to the big view here and start doing it. You can see there the shock waves are coming off me. If you're in the middle of a crowd, you're regaining mana. Holy shit, that's loud. There we go. That's better. Okay, that should be better. Anyway, sorry about that. Loud noises are loud noises. Okay. So while you're doing it, you can see the explosion around me. That is what gets your mana back. That is Blizzard. That freezes. And as I'm spinning around, there's Meteor. You can see pretty much that means everything in that little circle, it just died. It's brutal. I know. It's super brutal, and it's really fun to do. So basically, the play style of this is while you're running, feel free to drop like a blizzard or something, freeze every enemy, maybe a meteor, spam a few meteors around while you're running as you need to help clear out just shit that's in your way while you're moving. We're also using Walking Endless, so while we're moving, we're looking at about 80 million toughness. Could be higher, but it works for what you're doing. When you get to somewhere you want to go, you start drop into your channel and just spray and pray, click around in a circle. It's pretty handy, but you notice we're still running about 80 million due to some more of our equipment, which we're going over right now. But that gives you a look at why it's called the Chaos Chaingun. Now, back to focus. Man, I am not focusing well on this one. Anyway, currently boots, I'm using Firewalkers. I'm not using them for any particular reason. Feel free to put whatever you want in there. I'm just using it because it's ancient, and they're probably the best boots that I have. We are using the Tal Rasha'S. So what the Tal Rasha'S do is, as I mentioned earlier, the 2-set damaging enemies with arcane, cold, fire, or lightning will cause a meteor of the same damage type to fall from the sky every 8 seconds. So when I hit somebody with the arcane of my arcane torrent every 8 seconds, so like if I haven't hit anything for a while, the first enemy I hit is going to get a meteor dropped on their face that's arcane element meteor. Every 8 seconds that's hit by a fire meteor gets dropped with a big meteor every 8 seconds, also with ice and with electricity of static pulse or your storm armor power of the storm. So it works great. It really does. It's a very powerful 2-piece. It drops a meteor, which, remember, we've got all kinds of shit. We've got meteors are doing an extra, 1,000 to 1,300% damage, period. All right, so each of your attacks that you do for the 4-piece and the 6-piece, so we're just going to combine these together. All right, so every time you cast an arcane, cold, fire, and lightning, it will give you a stack. There's a max of 4 stacks. When you have the full 6-piece, that is an additional 3,000% damage to everything you do. It is also 75% increase to every one of your elemental resistances. And it's pretty powerful. So let's just show you what that looks like here. Let's see. So it's this little symbol right here. As you can see, it doesn't take very long, but you'll pretty much always be at least 1 stack every time. You'll notice all this other stuff that's clicking off and going around off of the chains. They don't affect it. So as you needed to, you can cast and stack it up to 2. If you want to go up to 3, you cast your next skill. And if you want to go up to 4 and really start doing the deeps, you cast your other skill. You can see my mana is holding, but it is going down. To keep that up, you just alternate pressing the other stack skills as you're going, and it will keep it up for a fair long time. Honestly though, not much lives through this. I'll show you guys here towards the end of the video what it does when it's ramped up. So let's go back into details. So we're going to skip all that. The other important piece is we're doing convention of elements, because why wouldn't you? You're doing all 4 elements all the fucking time. Might as well get the random 200% damage bonus to every one of them all the time. We're using Nemesis bracers. They're probably my favorite set in the game, or piece of armor in the game. There's a lot of benefits to them, both for loot and for speedrunning and those times when you can't find the elites. But again, this is something you can switch out for whatever the hell you feel like you'd rather have there. Remember what I said earlier? There's a lot of options that you can switch through on this, but it's not exactly a gear intensive. We're also using the Endless Walk. It's a very common jewelry set. So while moving, your damage taken is reduced by up to 50%. While standing still, damage is increased by up to 100%. Guess what you're doing when you're doing most of your damage? That's right, you are standing still. Also using Mantle of Channeling, which it gives you 25% damage reduction while you're channeling, and this set is 21% increased damage. That does max out at 25%. For legendary gems, I am not actually using Gem of Infectious Toxin. I am using Esoteric Alteration, which gives me a 35.5% non-physical damage reduction. And when I'm below half health, it also increases my resistances to all the elements by 75%. Sorry, that's not on there right now. I'm experimenting and working on another build, so it's been switched around. Anyway, I am using Molten Wildebeest Gizzard. This is a controversial one. A lot of people won't like it. I don't really care about the 25% shield. I care about the 61% or 61,000 life per second. If we go down to life, my life per second, it's only 67. That means it's pretty much all coming from Wildebeest. Life per hit is definitely more important for this build, but the really high recovery is basically what keeps you alive. And I am, of course, using Taiguk, which increases your damage. At max stack, it's 36.8% at rank 42. It will go up to 51 shortly. I accidentally ate one. And you also gain 2%, so a 20% increase in your armor. So that's things that all kind of combine together. For other gems, I am using life in my helmet and life on hit in my weapon. And, of course, topazes for that, and intelligence everywhere else, because that's the good right there. Alright, so we're going to take you in. I don't even know what torment I'm on. Torment 13, sure, whatever. We're going to go into a lesser lit rift real quick, and I'll just show you some of the gameplay real quick. Nice and leisurely like. Ding! Anybody else just really love that sound of a lesser rift opening? I want to soundbite it. Alright. So, get our armor up and going. Just kind of cruise around here. And I'm not going to be doing this like a greater rift. Hey, I'm just trying to find... There we go. Alright. So, weak point while I get set it with my channeling, and then you can see the kind of damage numbers this is putting out quite easily. I'll even I'll freeze everything on the screen just with a couple clicks. You can see my arcane power is still doing just fine. And we'll just spam some more meteors. You can see the kind of numbers that is putting out. Yeah, everybody die. Hey, you down here. I want you to die. Can you die? Die for me. Thank you. So, as you can see, it is significant damage, and it's across the entire screen. So it's not exactly a speed build runner, because your damage is about the same to one enemy as it is the entire screen being full of enemies. Your CC is very important to keep you alive, because usually I will intentionally drop one as myself to get the extra stack of my set. So I do something like this, and that'll keep everybody that gets close to me frozen. It gives you a good amount of survivability, and yeah. Then I use my teleports to walk around the majority of the time. So most of the time I end up killing a lot, but you can definitely just walk around. So if you wanted to switch out, an alternative part of the set is illusionary boots, which will let you walk through enemies instead of running into them. But you can definitely walk through them quite a bit, and then once you get them a good little pack going on, all you do is freeze everybody and you go to town, and nobody lives very quickly. So in those situations, doing greater rifts where and that's Nemesis right there. So you can see I just forced it to drop things to give me points. Ow, fire burns. Like so. Alright. Stay out of the lightning and the fire, because booms and lightning are not cool. You don't like them. Alright, everybody die, please. I'm trying to do a video. Leave me alone. Boom. Thanks. So as I said, this has been a pretty effective build. On top of that, it is really, really fun, and paired with a grouper like a Inarius Necromancer that's pulling everybody into his curse, or a Crusader rocks and Condemn that pulls everybody in and explodes it. It's great little solo build because you can wipe out everything, and it works really good with team play, because you can... The little assassin, demon hunters and stuff, they're dodging past all these groups, get kind of in trouble when the group catches up to them if they time it wrong. And you're just there, and you can wipe out the entire group almost instantly. It's great. And we're going to skip another cough for you, because I am like dying. Thank God for Washington winters. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, stop by my Twitch channel. The link will be in the description below. And also, if you're wanting to see the builder page with all this information on there, so you can look at it and compare and adjust as you feel fit, I will also have that link in the description below. Thank you very much for popping by. I hope this was helpful for you guys. All you guys, as always, square up with that like button, like it's your favorite hater. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're almost to 1K. I'm getting pretty stoked and excited about it, and I will catch all of you next time. Later.